Hello, everyone, and welcome to Taking the Leap. So, I'm just waiting for my guest to come on today, and I'm really excited to have this conversation, and I hope you're joining us. So, Sue, if you can I will accept you. And I'm sure she will be right up. Hello, Sue. Welcome. So I'm Caryn Saitz, and welcome to Taking the Leap. These are conversations with women who are 40 plus, who have created their dream business and changed their life. And today I am extremely excited to have Sue Hrib, also known as Aunt or Auntie Sue, and with me to have this conversation. So welcome, Sue.
Hey there, Karen. Glad to be here.
Thanks. And so Sue and I have known each other for several years, in full disclosure
Several?
here. We actually met through Entrepreneurs Organization. And I worked with Sue on a program called IQL, or Insignia and Quantum Leap. And they were for entrepreneurs who were really at an extremely high level and wanted to have incredible experiences and do things beyond just the average, even within Entrepreneurs Organization, which is already doing really cool things. So Sue worked on that. I worked on that program for 2 years with you.
Yep.
And it was global. So it was great. We got to travel outside of the country and see different places. And so it's fantastic to have you here today and have you on Taking the Leap.
Oh,
And you are a perfect example of someone who's taken the leap for sure. So I want you to tell and share your story with everyone. So if you can sort of tell us a little bit about your background, what you had been doing, but also how you got to where you are today, because it's pretty exciting where you are today.
oh, sure. Well, I always think it's a little boring, but I guess, just for other people. I actually started out a long time ago. I had my own consulting company for almost 20 years, and I was in the tech. So I did oil, gas, utilities, and I worked all over the world. I had an office in the Middle East and Abu Dhabi and Oman. And then I've worked in Israel and all over the United States. So then, after, I don't know, doing that for 20 some odd years, I was number one in my field. So it's kind of funny. We'll come back to it a little bit, when we get these people who are, doing really well in their careers. When you're number one, you're also the shooting range. People hate you. So, but what you do is you just keep moving forward and just be in my own lane and move forward. And then I sold my company, actually 5 years ago. In a
Oh,
couple of
wow.
months, it'll be 5 years, which is really scary.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when you did that, so it didn't seem like that long ago. Can I ask you, were there a lot of women in the industry that you were in?
Oh, Lordy, no. There were no women. You can imagine, first of all, my background, I actually have a master's degree in mathematics. So for 2 years of my master's, I was the only girl in
Wow.
my class. So, I've always been used to being the only person, if you will, the only girl.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I go into a field that is, it's what do you call it? It's all in the maintenance management. So I worked in the manufacturing, and there are absolutely positively like maybe one out of a
Wow.
thousand women. So, and working in the Middle East, in this Ramadan right now. So, but the big thing with working in the Middle East is a lot of times I go to countries and I had to have a guy next to me, and I would be answering the questions, but they would ask the questions of the guy. So,
Interesting. Wow.
I, uh, I dealt with that, but it's okay. As long as we're comfortable and we know what we know, that's all that
Mm-hmm.
counts.
Wow. So here you were in this pretty male dominated industry and you sold it. And what inspired you after that? I mean, where did you want to go and what did you want to do?
Well, it's funny because we get to this goal. Oh, I want to sell my company. So then I sold my company, and I'm like, woohoo! Now I'm retired.
Right.
Well, you're
Not.
retired by yourself,
Right.
And you have to understand, you're used to going like 1,000 miles an hour. And then all of a sudden I'm waking up and I don't have somewhere to go. And I don't have all these employees to be after me and things of that sort. So all of that ended. So believe it or not, it took about 4 months and I was like, I can't take this anymore. So I actually started another company, and it's called the Atlanta Music Fund. And
Uh-huh.
what I realized, I do a lot of nonprofit, and I've worked with Usher's New Look, which is Usher's nonprofit well, I've been with them since, I don't know, 2006, so a
Wow.
long time. Um, and what I realized is a lot of the kids in that field were really getting ripped off, and they were getting ripped off only because they didn't have the education. And I'm not talking school education, I'm just talking,
Business, right?
the
Just everyday
yeah,
business.
everyday business sense. So they didn't have that. So what happened was, I was like, you know what, I've got to change this. And I live in Atlanta. Atlanta is the number one place for music, and I've always been a connector my whole entire life. So what I did was I just started getting entrenched. And I'm a boots on the ground person, so people who know me know I'm out in the field.
Right.
I don't care where I go. I'm with all the different kinds of kids and every demographic imaginable, but I really care about them. So I'm that person of I'm willing to give all of my information to everybody. I share everything. I want everyone to be
Hmm.
successful. So that's very, very important to me.
Is that where Aunt Sue came from? Is that where the name came from, or?
Well, actually, Aunt Sue came from, I have lots of nieces and nephews. And when you move to the South from New York, it's not proper to be calling people Sue. So,
Right.
my nieces and nephews call me Aunt Sue. So all of a sudden, all their friends call me Aunt Sue. And then, I don't know, everyone in the industry now calls me Aunt Sue. So like, even, like,
You're the world's aunt. I mean, our aunt.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and also, if you think about it from the industry perspective, a lot of the people that we work with in the music industry, who do they always go to? They go to their mom, to their grandmothers.
Interesting.
And so the auntie is that trusted person. And that's really, that's one thing that I take to heart. My big thing is that I want to be that trusted person
So is it
that everyone.
trusted advisor? Is it kind of like the other parent? Is it sort of some combination of all of the above?
I think it's kind of all of the above. If you think about it, especially again in music, it's really hard to have somebody you trust, right?
Hmm.
Everyone is always trying to get on someone and take advantage of them and all this other stuff. And I'm of the like, look, I already made my money. I'm not going to make more money on you. Like, that's not what I'm here for. And
Right.
it's not to say that I don't want to make money. Of course, I'm always investing. So,
Hmm.
but at the same time, look, I've got information. I've always been happy to share that info, and I'll do everything I can because I want you to be the best at what you can be.
So how many rock stars or how many stars have sort of come out of this?
Well, let's just say a lot.
Yeah.
I do a lot behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know, but I have never said no to people. Like, people DM me. It's funny. Every person that ever DMs me, I always reply back, and it's interesting because people are always, wow, I just thank you for just responding.
Uh-huh.
And I always tell them where to go. Here's some more info, and
You're a resource person, which is something I completely relate to.
yeah.
Not in the music industry for me. I have to say that is definitely not my wheelhouse, but I think it's amazing. Like, were you always into music, that was something that you really, or did you just see the opportunity because Atlanta is so strong in that area and really had that need?
Well, I mean, ever since I was a kid, I loved music. Like, I was the nerdy kid with, some headphones
Uh-huh.
on and always listening to music and stuff like that, going to concerts and things like that. That's my love language, if you will.
Yep.
And just, being in Atlanta, it's hard to ignore that we're the number one city in the world, all about music. And it just so
I
happened
didn't realize that. It's
that
not, it's funny. It's not something I've ever thought about as, in Atlanta. So
oh
that's pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and it's fun, and the kids are really really great. Again, they just need somewhere to ask that question that they know somebody will give them an answer that's not going to be wrong, or that I'm trying to steer them in a way that I'm
Hmm.
going to be ripping them off. So, but
So that was the start of your dream business. And where's the next stop on the train?
ooh, okay. So there's a lot going on. So my next business venture, I've actually created a company called Boss Babe Brands. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be matching brands with influencers, if you will. There's a lot of people who may have only like, I don't know, let's say 50,000 people, but a very, very high engagement. They're an influencer in their own right.
Hmm.
I have maybe 14,000 people, but I have very, very, very high engagement. So
Right.
I'm considered a quote unquote influencer. So again, I just see a need there. And my next business venture, where of course I'm all about women businesses. I'm an investor in, we just did another investment in two more women companies last week. So I'm very
Hmm.
excited about them. So I think it's now up to 17 companies that,
Wow.
yeah,
And are they focused in certain industries, or are they just across the board, or how do
no.
you decide what you want to go into? Is
So
it with
there,
a group or just yourself, or?
well, a little bit of both. I'm part of this group called Encourage,
Hmm.
which is a bunch of entrepreneur friends that I've had forever. We do a business plan competition, kind of like a Shark Tank, every year in Houston. And so we always give our award to a woman business. And so this year, it just so happens we had two. We couldn't figure out which one we wanted to do,
Uh-huh.
but they're all kinds of different. It could be medical devices. It could be like, one is a slurry that they use, and another one is an ERP system in Ghana, and
Wow.
just all different kinds of
So
things.
not even just domestic, worldwide.
Correct. They're all worldwide.
Global.
Actually, I'm
Wow.
going next month to Nigeria, and we opened our Ghana business, opened up an office in Nigeria. So Megan is going to come visit me, and we're going to hang
Wow.
out. And then I'm going to my friend's wedding.
Wow. So are they big investments, or are they sort of,
Uh,
I
you
mean, are they
know,
grants, or,
no, no,
how does it
no,
work?
no.
It's
They're
a
actual.
pure
They're
cash investment.
Yep, they're an investment. They're a convertible loan. And they're anywhere from, I don't know, I think our lowest one might have been 20 grand all the way up to like 200,000. So
Wow.
again, different kinds of things, and I just, you got to look at what's out there. You have to see what appeals to people, what's popular, things of that sort. And you just, your gut. And really how
Hmm.
I invest is based upon the team, right? We know you could have the greatest idea but the worst team, and it's going to be a failure. You could have an okay idea and a great team, and it
Hmm.
could go everywhere.
Yeah, I
So
was going to say, what's the criteria as you're kind of looking at these things? So team,
yeah,
idea, and then you
female
evaluate.
owner,
Hmm.
or female run business, and again, not in the token, oh, they're the CMO or they're
Right.
the whatever. No, these are real founders. These are like real boss
Boss
babes, I
babes.
call them. Yes, like
Uh-huh.
badasses. They're really
Yep.
badasses. Yeah.
That's amazing. So, do you see that as sort of your future and being able to invest in so many women as they grow their business? And then, do you think you'll just kind of jump on to one and get on their board and start running it, or do you see yourself really just spreading your wings and helping as many people at once as you can?
So I think my forte is really helping as many women as I can. So my new business venture is going to be a woman's liquor, but it's not a liquor. What it is, it's a community, and it's so cool. And we'll be ready. I'll tell more a
Yeah.
little bit later, maybe in the
No sneak
summer.
previews here.
No, no, sorry, not yet, not yet.
Okay. Okay.
But the whole thing of it is one of our you know, a BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. One
Yeah.
of our BHAGs is that we want to make 50 women millionaires out of this company. And how we're going
Wow.
to do that is all of our supply chain, we're using as many women as we can. Everything that we touch is all about women. All of my board members, all of my advisory board members are women. So it's really cool. And when we talk about all that kind of stuff, when you're creating a company, we're not taking, oh, well, you have to take that token woman and put her somewhere. No, these women that are a part of my board, I've
Mm-hmm.
known them for years. They are badasses. They're into this. And, you know, it's all facets of, we have African American, we have Asian, we have white, we have Jewish, we have Islam, you know, all these
Right.
different
Real
kinds of,
diverse.
yes, yes. And it's purposeful. And
Mm-hmm.
everyone has a purpose, meaning that they are all really good in their field. So I didn't take anyone, oh, well, I need that girl just because she fits into a certain
A slot.
ethnicity, demographic, or whatever.
Right.
No.
Right.
And that's the beauty of having a woman as a founder, is that I think we're more purposeful in that way.
And do you think, so what do you think is the biggest challenge for a woman that goes out there and wants to create this business? I mean, what are they facing? Is it harder? I mean, look at how many
Yes.
you've started and look at how many, you see moving forward. So A, is it getting easier? And B, what have been the sort of problems that you've, incurred along the way?
So it's very interesting. I just had this conversation when I was in New York with a woman who is heading up a whole women's investment group, meaning they're going to invest in women businesses. And why is she doing that? Women, we as women are the most underfunded people in the world, even though a woman business happens to be more successful. So the likelihood of a business being successful by a woman is way more than a man.
Wow.
So, we were having these conversations. Do we actually have to act more like a man? Or can we fit in? And like right now, I think we have to kind of do a little bit of a hybrid because we do need money. So one of the things that I'm very excited about my new business is I am only taking money from women. Like,
Interesting.
how cool is that?
And there are a lot of successful women out there that can afford to
Absolutely.
invest and want to invest in
Yeah.
women-only businesses, right?
Absolutely. And what's really cool is by having these women invest in the business is that what we're doing is we are now allowing women to be part of a really cool community
Mm-hmm.
of like-minded women, and that we're all supporting women and
So are
being
you
involved.
creating something? So as you're getting all these women to, invest, are you creating like another organization that, where you're bringing all of those women together? Because I think that's always the goal. You want to meet, like-minded people, and also you need that support. I mean, in many ways, having worked with, EO for so many years and other organizations, that need for women to find their peers and to be able to do that. I mean, you found it within an organization, which was really great. And there weren't, I mean, maybe 10% of the organization at that time was women, but now there's more and even more need, I think.
Yeah, there is. Really what we're doing within the company is it's that community, right? So it's not just a company, but it's a community. And within that community, what you're now going to be doing is we're going to give our influencers, because that's how we're going to be marketing this, is 100% influencers.
Mm-hmm.
And with the influencers, we're going to give them access to the women investors,
Wow.
which is really cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like one of our women actually started a very big line of clothing and sold it many, many years ago. And so how cool would that be if one of our influencers really wanted to start a clothing line, and now she has access to this one that
Mm-hmm.
went a global line, and now you have access because now we were part of that community. And I really think my my big thing for getting money and stuff is really not having access to where are those women who think that it's important for us to be investing and supporting
Mm-hmm.
women. That's the part that's very, very hard. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
that if there's anything, that's actually where we're
Spread
trying
the
to
word
build up
and let
more women.
women know that you exist and that here's an opportunity to actually use your expertise and your dollars and put it behind, you know, be on the ground and do what you know, how you made that money. Now give it back and help others make that money. So
Right.
that's great.
And also, you know, a big component, and we know this from being entrepreneurs organization, you know, I wouldn't have been successful with my business unless I had a proper business coach. And, you know, I always tell everyone, if you're an athlete training, would you ever go and train without a coach? The answer is
Right.
no. Well, what happens in business? The same thing. Like, I really truly believe that if you're going to be successful in business, you also have to have a business coach, and you should pay them, right? So I actually paid mine, and thank God for him. He was brutally honest, and believe me, you
Mm-hmm.
know, punched me in the stomach a couple of times in terms
Mm-hmm.
of not really physically, but I mean,
Did
like,
it help that it was a man though versus I mean, do you think a woman would have been different as a coach?
you know, I don't know. I really valued my business coach because I've known him for almost 30 years. So
Mm-hmm.
for him, for me, it's a little bit different. Like, I really trusted him. I knew he was going to tell me what to do and what's important. And sometimes, you know, it's very interesting because I think we entrepreneurs need that up and down and up and
Mm-hmm.
down, and we thrive on that. And it's actually a lot like artists, you know, they go that manic and then they go that, you
Right.
know, the
The peaks
happy.
and the valleys and the
Yeah, and it's almost like we need that to to
to
go up.
recover and recharge and get ready for the next climb up that mountain, right?
For sure, for
And
sure.
also, I mean, you were in a male dominated business, so that
Yeah.
could have easily, you know, giving you that perspective probably helped in some way as well.
Right. And you know, one of the things I have to say is that when you're in a male oriented business, I have very thick skin, you know, like people can say stuff and I'm just like, I just move on.
Whatever.
You know, it goes over here.
Right, right.
Like, I don't get caught up in all of that. But at the same time, you know, I've never had a Me Too incident. And it's because, you know, I have a very big wall here, and I do not let anyone cross it, nor do I let anyone mess with me. So, you know, like, I think it
It's
comes
obvious
through.
for anybody. Don't go there, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So here
So,
you are, you're a woman and you're thinking that you want to build your dream business and create something really special. What were some of the things that you wish you knew before you started and that would have helped you make that business easier and, you know, not as difficult for you to do that? And maybe it wasn't that difficult, but it is for so many women.
oh
So
yeah,
what?
it's extremely difficult. You know, again, I think you know, thank God for Entrepreneurs Organization, because I had my little troop, if you will, that I could go, and if I had problems, I had employee problems and I had business problems, at least I had my internal board that could tell
Right.
me, you know, what to do. But really, my biggest problem was access to money. And if you think about it, almost everybody who starts out, you know, it's access to money. But, you know, I've always been a hustler, and, you know, I know when to hustle, and I can hustle my way out of anything. And
Mm-hmm.
I used favors and whatever I could. And
Mm-hmm.
I got money and floated myself money. Having a really good credit score is number one, because if you have a good credit score at some point during your life, it'll be much easier to get money.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I had a consulting business, and no one in the world wants to give a consulting business money. They like to have inventory. Banks don't understand that.
Because
And
they're betting on one person in that consulting business.
yeah, and they don't like people businesses,
Right.
right? So you know, that's probably one of the biggest problems. And so again, you just had to you know, you live on the edge, always on the
Mm-hmm.
edge. And right now, you know, I'm helping a woman company, and I'm happy to say that they just closed a $24 million project
Whoa, that's
on
fantastic.
Monday. Yes,
Congrats. That's so great.
yes. No,
That's not a small round, you know?
no, no, no. She won a contract. So now it's like, oh shit, you win the contract. Now what do you do?
Now
Because
you
now
got to
you
do
gotta,
it, right?
right, right. So that's the scary part, right? But you know, we're resistant, and you know, I know that you know your background of being Jewish and the Holocaust. I truly believe, you know, my parents were in the war and all this stuff happening with Ukraine is that we came, there's something in our blood. And I tell the kids, a lot of the African American kids that came from slavery and stuff, I said one of the things that we have to be blessed with is there's something in our blood to be a survivor. And that's one thing that is very, very, very important for a business, is to be a survivor. And
Mm-hmm.
you get knocked down and you get back up, and you
That
get knocked
resilience that
down.
keeps you, it's kind of like one of those plastic things that you keep knocking out and it goes, and it keeps coming back at you, you know?
For
It's
sure.
funny. My first, when I did Barrels of Fun, which was a company I started in, oh my God, 1992, my first client asked me for 17,000 products. It was a really major company. It was actually HBO. And I remember thinking, 17,000, I haven't even made more than the 70 prototypes that I made. 17,000, sure. I said, no problem, right? I didn't have employees to make it at the time. And I ended up hiring all of these unemployed people, literally through, you know, connections and resources. And you just say yes, and you go out there. And I delivered 17,000 products, you know, really makeshift. And they went on and kept, you know, buying from me. And they were my client throughout my, you know, history until I sold the company. And, you know, that's sort of the lesson that you learn, that you just say yes and you figure it out along the way, you know, and sometimes it works
Believe
and
me, I,
sometimes it doesn't, but you got to go with it, right?
yep, yep. And that's the other thing that I always tell everyone. You know, when you win something, you say, "Great, yes," and then come back to me and talk to me behind the scenes of,
Right.
"Oh my God, how are we going to
Right.
do it?"
Exactly.
Because that's a good position to be in. But you know, at the same time, again, resiliency is very, very important,
Mm-hmm.
and not letting little things get to you, because you know, if we let little things, they can spiral, and then you can't come up from that. And that's why it's always important to always look long term, always look, you know, past. I always say, okay, am I, if I look at this a year later, is this really going to affect my life? And if I say no, then I don't even harbor on it. I just like move on, you know,
Right.
because I can't hold grudges, and I can't hold things that make that like eat you out and all that kind of stuff. You just kind of move forward.
But to come back up, you have to have some kind of sort of failure. You gotta learn how to come back up, right? I mean, because we're all going to be knocked down. The question
Yep.
is how you're going to come back up, right?
Yeah. And that's very interesting, because you know, I know this generation, the hovering mothers, oh, don't do this, don't do
Yeah.
that. I'm like, leave them alone,
How are
let
they going
them
to
do
learn,
that.
right?
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, I mean, personally, you know, I almost went bankrupt on some stuff, and at one point in my business. But I think you need that low to be like, okay, this really sucks.
Right.
How am I going to get out of it? And then when you start to come up, what happens is you come up stronger, and then you don't
Smarter.
let, yeah, and definitely harder, and you don't let little things get to you. And then I became way more profitable, because what I wasn't doing is I wasn't wasting money on stuff that didn't make a difference, because I had been down there and I'm like, I'm not spending money on that, I'm not spending money on
You
that.
learn. I mean, you learn. And sometimes we learn the hard way, but it's the only way we're going to learn, right?
For sure, for
So
sure.
I think as a woman starting out, I think some of the lessons are, you know, don't be afraid. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, yeah, you're going to get knocked down. There's no scenario where it's just all roses and, you know, la la land. I mean, you're going to have some hardships, but it's how you work through those hardships that are really going to, you know, help you, really reach your dreams and make those changes in the world. So on the community and sort of nonprofit side, I know that you do a lot for the community.
Yep.
So can you talk a little bit about how that's kind of meshed, besides, starting a company around giving back and mentoring and all of that? I think you do a lot of other things within the community. And it's a real testament to your appreciation and gratitude for the success that you have had.
Yeah,
So
so one of the things that I think is very important is for us to give forward. I hate give back. I didn't steal anything. So
pay
it's
it
giving,
forward.
right, give forward. So I say give forward. And I grew up in the ghetto. My parents came over and didn't speak English. So, there's a lot there. And so again, you learn to live with nothing. But I was always a hustler. I'm always making money. I was that one that wasn't going out, but I would work on New Year's Eve and have 12 kids over the
Mm,
house. But I made coin, like I made a lot of money. So, what you do with that is then it's very important to give forward. I'm very appreciative of where I am. Everything I have, I worked my ass off for. No one gave it to me, nothing.
mhm.
Everything I worked for. And, some people come to my house and say, oh, did you get that in the divorce? No, what are you talking about? No, I made my own money.
Right.
I am a very successful woman and I make my own money. And so, again, giving forward is very important. So I think, I work with Usher's New Look, which is Usher's nonprofit. We
Mhm.
teach leadership, which is very important, and mentorship is very important for the kids. These women, we need women to show them what other women can do. And then, oops, sorry. I'm
No worries.
also on a women's homeless shelter in Atlanta, and it's very important for me to see how women with children transition over, and all they need is a little bit of mentorship. They need somebody to say, "How are you doing? What are you doing?" So those are some of the things, and obviously, I've been working with President Carter for over 20 years.
Right.
And President Carter, I love him to death. And the Carter Center is the only organization to eradicate a disease outside of polio. And,
Mhm.
everything he stands for is awesome. And I've treasured my relationship with President Carter forever. And, that will go down as one of my greatest things to
Mhm.
experience is having that relationship with President Carter.
That's amazing. I mean, you've done so much, and to think how much more that you can do and the impact that you can make is so exciting. And I think it's really an important lesson for women to think about always paying it forward and giving it forward and finding ways to help other women. And truthfully, I started this Taking the Leap to help other women who want to do it and really haven't, to learn from others and learn. We all need role models. We all need people to show us how to do it and to just share their experience so we can find our own way to take from what they've done and move ourselves forward. So I really genuinely appreciate everything that you do for the women in the community. I can't wait to see what Boss Brands looks like.
Okay.
I hope you'll come back on and share what you're doing and showcase what it looks like. And I'm really excited for you.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled that you were here today. I'm thrilled to be able to share your story. And I really appreciate your time and everything that you do for women in business. So thank you.
Thank you. And all I can say is, everyone out there, don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. Make the leap and just let Jesus take the wheel.
See what happens and throw it against the wall, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone. And like I said, I'm always out here. So if anyone needs any info, stay tuned and we'll be
Right. So
back.
how do they find Aunt Sue?
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
You
Tell
just look
us.
up look up Aunt Sue on Instagram. It's under my name, which is Sue Hrib, SUEHRIB. I'm on all the platforms. I'm on LinkedIn. Very important for people to be on LinkedIn. You know this, Caryn,
Mm-hmm.
from being a business person. The number one place for how we get employees is really, I
Right.
personally use LinkedIn. So it's very important for us, if you're a business person, to have that information on LinkedIn, and one of the best places to get information out there.
And I will share this on LinkedIn as well. I'll
Perfect.
also share this on Instagram. We're also starting a YouTube channel, so we'll put this on YouTube. And I will make sure that everyone has Sue's email and her company address and her Instagram address so that they can reach her. So thank you again. Have an incredible day and the best of luck in everything that you're creating. So thank you.
Thank you, Caryn. See ya.
Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.